So we're just with Steph down at the Stumpies, and what are we about to give them, Steph?
So we're just going to throw them a little bit of a scatter. So we've got some really finely chopped apple. We have to have a bit of a balance with these guys. Scatters are great because they keep them busy, but we want to not use too much high calorie stuff because these guys have had a bit of weight control issues in the past. So we have to make sure that we don't overfeed them.
Looks like they're ready to see them.
Some apple?
So they're all out and sort of enjoying the sunshine today. Who have we got around? Can you see them?
So pretty much everybody is outside at the moment, but it's mostly the dominants that are up at this end at the moment. We've got Sam just down here, who's the refined white gentleman, and his best girl Noreen just next to him. She's not actually the most dominant girl, but she's Sam's favourite. So whenever Noreen is out and about, Sam's out keeping a close eye to make sure Toto's not getting any time with his girl. And then we've got little Charlie down here. And then the big lady up on the platform is our largest girl. She's Kelly, and she's the dominant female. She's the heaviest, although she's a lot better than she used to be. And I think the other more dominant one's Sylvie. Yeah, she's hiding down in the shade at the moment. They've been loving the sunshine, but they are enjoying cooling off in the shade a little bit. And Toto is just up at the back there on the pole. He's got Flo just down below on the platform. I'm assuming Freddie is out there hiding away a little bit. Toto and Freddie do still tend to stay at the back when food goes out for the dominance. Once those guys have moved off, then they'll come down and have a look at what's left.
Sylvie looks like she's balancing quite nicely on the log there.
Sylvie's actually one of the most acrobatic, if you can believe that word, can be used with a Stumpy's name. Sylvie and Charlie are the two sort of younger girls. They're both sort of mid-20s, so still older but younger than the rest of them, and those two actually do go up on the high hosing and things. Sometimes they can do quite good balance work. The slightly heavier individuals like Kelly tend to stay away from the more precarious spots. They prefer to have their feet firmly on the ground.
But yeah, massively improved from when they came from their life in the labs and they had to have huge wide platforms so they could balance.
Yes, they are much more able now. We've been doing a lot of work with their diets. So they were ridiculously overweight when they first arrived. I mean, Kelly is our heaviest now, but she's a shadow of her former self. She was 18 kilograms, I believe, when she arrived. Sort of normal-ish for a stumpy female, is more like 9 or so. So she was about double what she should have been. These days she's a much more respectable, still slightly chubby, but a much more respectable 12-ish. So yeah, lost 6 kg in her time here. You kind of want them to lose the weight, but you don't want them to do it too quickly. And everybody's had sort of a nice gradual decline. You've got sort of Flo, Sylvie and Charlie, they're all around the sort of 10 kg mark now, so they're about almost what's right for a normal Stumpy. You wouldn't know it with some of them because the fat rolls of excess skin kind of hide that there's actually been some weight loss, but they are much improved from laboratory animals that were just grotesquely overweight when they arrived.
So the primate education course this week was looking at quadrupedalism for terrestrial animals, which of course these guys are. Can you tell us a little bit about how they move?
Well, the Stumpies generally move as little as possible, so it's the challenge is getting them to move. But yeah, these guys move around with both hands, both feet on the ground. They will use their hands to climb up, but they generally walk on all fours. Stumpies, with their mobility and stuff, the challenge is getting them moving. These guys, I mean, they have sitting pads on their bums. They are built for being sitting down and being still. So the challenge is getting them off their bums and using those muscles and getting them up and moving.
So what are some of the ways you do that?
So Stumpies are very food motivated, so you have to do a sort of fine balance between giving them scatter feeds and spreading it as much as possible to get them up and moving, but not giving them so much scatter that you're going to get them to gain weight again. Things like seeds are great, but they're also quite high calorie, so we have to use very controlled portions when we do throw food out. But anything we throw out, we try and make as small as possible so we can spread it everywhere to get them up and moving. We also use enrichment for getting them up, so in our playroom we've actually had lots of barrels and things with holes installed in there, and that is great for getting them to turn the barrel, try and get the food out. It means that they're hanging off of stuff to try and get into the barrels to get their food, so they're engaging their core muscles and actually getting off their bottoms and kind of putting some effort in. That's kind of the best ways we've got to motivate them to be up and moving, although the sunshine is making them spend a lot more time outside, which is great.
Brilliant.
It's all got a bit much for Charlie now. She's having a bit of a groom from Kelly there. They do spend a lot of time out in the sun grooming each other, which is really nice for kind of spending quality time together. It keeps the bonds in the group nice and tight.
So your grooming works the same way as it does for lots of the other primates, like chimpanzees. It's a bonding activity, and
yeah,
as well.
It's a bonding activity, and it also helps them kind of get ties and work their way up the group a little bit as well. It's one of the things that show us where somebody is in the hierarchy and how confident they feel. So we've noticed actually with Toto and Freddie here, because they are now sort of the lower end and Flo's managed to move up a level, we actually see her approaching the more dominant animals for grooming now, which kind of shows that she's more secure in her position.
Brilliant. There's Toto. And is he getting more confident with the group?
Toto is getting more confident. Him and Fred do kind of do their own thing. They do sort of stay out of the way, particularly if Sam's around, because he is, you know, top boy. But you do see them spending quite a lot of time with some of the other females now. Sylvie's always been a big Toto fan. She's often sneaking away to go and spend some time with him. And I mean, he's such a handsome boy, you can't blame her. But you also see Charlie sometimes now going down and spending some time. And we are noticing a bit of a difference with Sam. He's always been the top dominant male, and he still is now. But he's starting to slow down a bit, starting to look a bit old and getting a bit sleepy in the mornings. So for the first time over the last couple of months, we actually see him allowing the dominant girls to go and sit with Toto occasionally. He's less possessive now, and he's a bit more relaxed, you know. He's past wanting to fight over women. He just wants a chilled retirement life, I think. So we're seeing a bit more of a shift of the boys being allowed to encroach on the house and get closer to the dominant girls.
That's brilliant. Oh, it's good to know they're all doing well and enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, it's been perfect stumpy weather. We've had to use lots of ice lollies and things to help keep them cool. And we've got to do a bit of sun cream training with Sam in particular. As an old boy, he's lost a bit of fur, so he gets a few pink patches on his back that we're trying to work on sunscreen training with him. But they're absolutely loving the sunshine. They're spending all of their time outside.
That's great. Thanks very much, Steph.
No worries.